7th grade, I fell asleep in class, and I'll never forget, I pictured myself like holding this really cool skull and looking at it, like turning it, and I always kept that image in my head until I was able to sculpt it, you know, once I had the tools and know-how. And I went through about 3 generations before I got it to where I knew that that was the one for my dream. This is definitely the first anchor piece, you could say, in the whole Starlingear saga. So much of what I have started from this version. My whole idea in the beginning was I never wanted to do realistic skulls. I always wanted to do skulls how I saw them in my mind, which were animated, kind of mischievous, up to something. They say artists create in their own vision. You know, very rarely serious, and but always up to something. So that's kind of what I wanted this skull to be, and it's worked out pretty well. I've always wanted to push the envelope with new metals, new finishes. You know, once I had copper, it wasn't enough to have it high polished, not for long. You know, I have ADD really bad, so, you know, I wanted it to look like the Statue of Liberty, and I wanted it to look like, you know, it'd been sitting around for 100 years, and just that fascination with different finishes, different metals, all that stuff. I just wanted to really separate my work from anybody else's in terms of always pushing new materials, new things. And some of them didn't work out so well, and some of them worked out great, but it never stops me from continuing to push to the next thing, you know. When silver was only $6.50 an ounce, I used to get questions about, you know, why is this skull ring $500 or $600? How can I justify that? And it's not until when you educate people and bring them into the shop and show them how much really goes into a ring, and you're not just paying for a raw material. Like there's a lot of labor, a ton of labor in each piece. Each piece needs to be individually done and then joined together, or like a ring needs to be shot and cleaned and stamped and, you know, invested, cooked, cast, then you cut it, grind it, and then the finishing starts. Sanding, repairing, tumbling, polishing, antiquing, and, you know, finally you get the final product. But you're talking about a lot of steps, you know. It's an educational thing for clients, you know, at times. Well, each of my showrooms that I've designed, they've always had a kind of a theme. And this one I was a little stumped at until I was walking in Portland, Oregon with some friends through a antique shop, and I saw this section full of old tools. I knew right there, I said, this is it, because it really harkens back to when